your own.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dallas Songwriters Association's Songwriter Spotlight. I'm very pleased to welcome Rickey Jean Wright. We're going to be here for an hour, having a really nice time talking with each other. We're going to be hearing a lot of Rickey Jean's songs, and I'm looking very forward to this. So I'd like to introduce to you Rickey Jean Wright.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share those songs that I think I'm really going to sing the ones that have already been recorded. No need to work out new songs live.
That's probably a good idea. We'll probably have at least a half a dozen people watching us tonight. You probably don't want to try out anything that's going to be, you know, that's still fledgling. So I'm looking forward to hearing some stuff. I've enjoyed listening to you. You do a great job hosting at the Love and War in Texas every fourth Thursday of the month, where we have our open mic there with the round robin format. I'm enjoying being there as we play and swap songs. Tell me about yourself. Let me hear, what was your childhood like? What was it like growing up?
Well, actually, I have a song on my first album called "Folks Like Us Were Born to Sing," and so my family, we sang a lot. We went to church and we sang out of hymnals at church, and we sang out of hymnals at home. And my mother, she played pretty much any kind of string instrument I ever saw her get in her hands, and she could she could play a little bit on everything. And of course, she played a guitar. And the story is, long before I ever came along, when she was a teenager, her and her three brothers had a little band that when they would have a hold down somebody's barn or somebody's house, well, they would come and be the dance band, doing country music, Bob Wills, Hank Williams, that kind of stuff. And when I was about 8 years old, she bought me a little guitar at a drugstore. And I think maybe it was because she didn't want me to be messing with her guitar. I don't know. But it was a little bitty, kind of a miniature parlor guitar. I still have that guitar, and I think sometimes I'd like to have somebody go over it and revamp it, make sure it's it's a little bitty cheap guitar, but it's got precious memories to me. So she would always tell me that Rickey Jean, folks like us were born to sing, and I thought that meant that we were musically inclined or something like that. And I think that was partly what she was saying. But as I listened to the stories of her growing up, it made me realize that the double meaning of that was that poor people, one of the things that they can do is sing. And so folks like us were born to sing. It had kind of a double meaning. It meant that, yes, we have some musical things running in our family, but we were from a poor background, and folks like us can sing because it doesn't cost anything.
Did you know you were poor?
Do what?
Did you know you were poor?
Say that one more time.
Did you know you were poor? Did you think of yourselves as being poor?
No, I kind of thought of ourselves as blue collar. My mother was a housewife and my father was a welder. And we lived in Pasadena Deer Park area. And everybody we knew, I guess, were blue collar workers too. So I didn't really think of myself as poor, but I knew that there were rich people out there.
But music was a form of expression and
Yeah.
entertainment and social as well.
But anyway, that's the first song I actually planned to sing. Is folks like us were born to sing, and it's on the very first album. That album is full of stories of my family and some interesting characters in my family. And some people have told me that that first album that I released back in 2014 is their favorite album because it's full of stories, storytelling songs. But let me go ahead and sing that one. I would watch her sing and play that old guitar as she sang hymns and old country tunes. I'd watch her fingers as they danced across the strings, how she'd close her eyes when she began to sing. Times were hard back in the country, she would say, hard for those living off the land every day. She said trouble will drive you to your knees, as her foot kept the time and she made that guitar ring. She would cry when we sang Faded Love. Amazing Grace was her favorite song. She said singing helps the soul forget hard things, and folks like us were born to sing. She'd say, son, don't forget in God we trust, as she played that guitar and she sang the songs we loved. She sang about a place where there was no sun or moon, but until then we'll just sing a song or two. She would cry when we sang Faded Love. Amazing Grace was her favorite song. She said singing helps the soul forget hard things, and folks like us were born to sing. I always like to sing this for Mom. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I would watch her sing and play that old guitar as she sang hymns and old country tunes.
Nice job, Rickey Jean. Nice job. That's a beautiful song. Tell me about your faith.
About my faith?
Yes.
Yes.
I noticed, your family upbringing has obviously been a really good influence on
Yes.
you. Obviously, music was a big part of it, but your faith seems to be a big part of it as well.
Yeah, and we grew up in and it's kind of weird. We grew up in a non-instrumental church where they just sang a cappella. And although we sang hymns with instruments at home, this particular denomination, Church of Christ, they didn't have any instruments at their church, and it was just a traditional thing. And then later on, I guess as an adult in my 20s, we looked around for different places to go to church when we moved from the Houston area up here. And we decided to go to like a non-denominational church, and they had musical instruments in their worship services. And I wound up being on the worship team and a worship leader for 10 years. And by the way, can you hear a dog barking?
What dog? I don't hear any dog barking in the background.
Yeah, there's a dog barking, and I thought maybe you could hear
Thou
it.
shalt not lie. Actually, we can hear him, but he's not distracting us.
All right. But anyway, and then I came to the realization that it really wasn't denominations and doctrine and stuff that people fight over in religion. It was just about a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And I realized then that I was a sinner saved by grace, and I just went on from there.
How'd you get saved by grace?
You're a little bit weak in the volume.
How did you get saved by grace? I can bring this mic in a little closer, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's better.
I feel like a radio jock now. It's time for a commercial break now. We'll be right back. DSA is a great club. You should join it. Okay, we're back.
All right. So did you ask a question, or did you tell me to go on to another song?
No, I had a question for you.
Okay.
Tell me more about being saved by grace, and then I'll let you sing.
All right. Well, I think one time I had spent about $1,500 on books before, and this is in the 70s, trying to figure out what was the truth, about religion and what was the truth about salvation. And I came to the realization that being knowledgeable about the Bible really wasn't it. That wasn't. I came to the realization that you could never reach, kind of like climb up that ladder of knowledge, and because there's always going to be something that you don't know, that you're going to wonder about, or maybe even be wrong about. So that's when I said, okay, I'm done with that. That was just a part of my life. So I'm just going to hold on to the simple thing of I'm a sinner like everybody else is a sinner, and I'm saved by the grace of God.
Jesus saves.
All right, so let me move on to another song. You ready?
Yes, thank you.
Let me see here. Let me see here. I had a song on that first album that actually was the first song that I. Harry, are you there?
He's hidden behind the screen.
Okay. Ask Harry if he can hear the dog barking.
Oh yeah, the dog is very apparent. We can definitely hear the dog barking.
You can hear the dog.
Harry can hear the dog barking, but that's okay. We're used to that.
Yeah.
I can go let that dog outside if you want to talk for a minute.
Okay.
I want you.
Harry has something to say, I think. Okay, I guess it's time for station identification. This is brought to you by the Dallas Songwriters Association. It has been with us for about 30 years. It was founded by Barbara McMillan, and it's a wonderful group of people. We're meeting other people that are interested in songwriting. We're meeting other people that are interested in recording, performing. We have a whole bunch of interesting programs that are quite helpful. One of them, my favorite, is well, gee, there's so many favorites, I don't even know where to begin. We host the, and Rickey Jean is back. The host of Dallas Love and War in Texas on Plano Parkway and I-75, fourth Thursday of the month. And the dog has been, I guess in Wizard of Oz terms, what was the word they used? But you didn't put the dog down, you just removed him.
Actually, the dog came in here with me.
Oh, and he's
I
just
think my
very
dog
happy
has
with you.
separation issues or something. But so one of the songs on that first album, and by the way, it's we need to stop and plug Dallas Songwriters Association as many times as we think about it. But anyway, they're a great organization. On that first album, there was a song that I had written in about 5 minutes, and I really didn't, think too much about the song. I mean, people liked it. And I went to the recording studio, not realizing that I was actually just going through maybe an audition for the guy that owned the studio, and he said he didn't really work with everybody, that he sort of had a boutique type recording studio. And so I played this song, and he looked at me through the window and he said, gave me 2 thumbs up, and he says, okay, I think you're going to be somebody I want to work with. So it was this song that kind of opened the door for and I've been recording there and using Brad Davis as my producer and ever since. So it worked out really good, but I probably would have been really nervous if I had realized that I was auditioning,
Yeah.
But this song turned out to be maybe the only song that has played on FM radio. I got word that in Chicago they were playing this on a folk radio station. But this song was just so easy to write because, true story, I went into a restaurant in East Texas, and this is what happened at the restaurant. And I just went back to my truck, my pickup truck, and wrote down a few things. And when I got to a guitar that night, I sit down in about 5 minutes and wrote Waiting on My Time. One day I walked into a small town cafe. There sat an old man with a right friendly face. He said, pull up a chair, the coffee's mighty fine. Won't you join me while I'm waiting on my time? He said there was a time when I could conquer the world. There was a time when I turned the head of a pretty girl. There was a time when time was on my side, and the years of life had found a place to hide. Now I'm just sitting here waiting on my time, watching the people as they all go by. I know someday I'll kiss this all goodbye. But right now I'm just sitting here waiting on my time. He said there was a time when I'd laugh at a walking cane. There was a time when I'd run out and dance in the rain. I guess I have outlived all my spit and shine, and now I'm riding that train to the end of the line. Now I'm just sitting here waiting on my time, watching the people as they all go by. I know one day I'll kiss this all goodbye. Right now I'm just sitting here waiting on my time. I know someday I'll kiss this all goodbye. Right now I'm just sitting here waiting on my time. Waiting on my time. You know, people have asked me what's the deal about songwriting? How do you write songs? I don't really have an answer for that, because I sit down with the guitar and the chord progression and the words kind of all fit together at the same time. I don't know how that happens. It's almost like they fall out of the sky or something. I don't know, you know. So if I really have to work on a song really hard, it never really gets finished. I write by inspiration, and the best songs I've written are about 5 minutes worth of work on it, and then I'm done. And I don't go back and change anything either, because most of the time I can't make it better, you know.
I think John Lennon once said something along these lines. When you get your idea, you need to work on it and get it then and there. It seems it takes me decades to finish a song, but I imagine by the time they're finally hammered out, who knows how revised they've been or what else is left. I hope there'll be something legitimate in the song, but I have a few songs that came up quickly, but most of them just seem to take forever. I didn't realize that that Brad Davis was the guy that was the producer. I'd heard that story, but I didn't realize he was the one.
Yeah, he's worked on everything with me, and this last album that we're releasing one song at a time. He wanted us to do me and Denise to come in the studio and me just play one instrument and have, you know, two voices, her singing harmony or her singing a duet. And he wants to use those songs and send them to Netflix, Paramount, you know, all those different types of places that are doing a series, you know, like Yellowstone and those different things. And he says the only songs that he really sees that get placed are they're almost like a demo, or they're live. They're not really orchestrated music. So this fifth album that I'm releasing is actually it's called a Americana Acoustic Session, and so it's very just like this, you know, except Denise is at Denise Owen, my partner in music for all these years. She adds the harmony, or if it's a duet, of course. But so this album is very, very laid back, acoustic. Not even a bass being played. I mean, it's just an acoustic guitar or a mandolin or something, you know, that's banjo, something, just one instrument. And so that's what we're doing, you know. So let me see here. What time is it? I guess I better go to the second album. Some songs on the second album. So on the second album, there was a song that I wrote, and I sang it for songwriting friends and people that I play with all the time, and they said, "Did you really write that song?" I said, "Yeah, I wrote that song." And we went down to the Electric Campfire Circle down there at Sons of Herman Hall, and Denise sang it while I played it, and we had people say the same thing. Y'all didn't write that song. Come on now, you know. Who wrote that song, really? Well, I kind of took that as a compliment, that if people think that it was a good enough song that we couldn't have wrote that song, you know, or I couldn't have wrote it. And how I wrote this song is I heard someone say, a man, whoever it was, man or woman, is so unlucky in love, especially, and they're just walking in love's lonesome shoes. We got to be careful what you say around a songwriter, because walking in love's lonesome shoes is just about all I needed to, my imagination to go wild, and say, well, wait just a minute here. I think there's a song in there somewhere. So on the second album, that album is titled Texas Is Our Home. It's called Love's Lonesome Shoes. I've heard it said we all have someone. True love is out there somewhere, but our hearts live with the doubts as we wonder, how will it all turn out? When the love you're in is not the one you love, and your heart holds on after giving up. Your heart asks, why does love have this pain? It gets hard to tell. Is this love or hate? Just like a stranger who's always passing through, just like a prisoner who's falsely accused. It's not a role anyone would choose. Walking in love's lonesome shoes. many times when a good love dies. Someone is left with all that time to cry, leaving a heart so broken inside, scared to love again, never willing to try. Just like a stranger who's always passing through, just like a prisoner who's falsely accused. It's not a role anyone would choose, walking in love's lonesome shoes, just like a stranger who's always passing through, just like a prisoner who's falsely accused. It's not a road, oh, anyone would choose, walking in love's lonesome shoes, walking in love's lonesome shoes.
Who are some of your major influences? Who are some of your major influences?
Well, I'd have to say Jerry Jeff Walker, Michael Martin Murphey, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. I think sometimes songs that were really famous and popular, I sort of went towards songs that were maybe not so popular, and those are kind of some of my favorite songs. And I think I liked the really popular songs, but then as I went around the album itself, I found that I even liked some of the ones that weren't as popular even more. And I remember whenever I found out that Jerry Jeff Walker had written
Mr. Bojangles?
the Mr. Bojangles song that was very popular, done by the
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I said, I think I can do that song. And so I started finger picking around my old country two finger picking way that I watched other old country people, I guess, do, and decided that's the way you're supposed to finger pick instead of the folk way with more fingers. And that song, especially when I heard the recording that was done by the writer, Jerry Jeff Walker, I'm thinking, wow, maybe I can write songs too like that. So anyway, so what time is it? 7:30. So let me see here. I have a lot of songs that are storytelling songs, and one of the storytelling songs that I wrote. And when you write a song, you're not thinking it's the greatest song you ever wrote, but for some reason this particular song is very popular and people request it when we go out to play. Now, I was born in Baytown on the north side of the Galveston Bay, and for the first 20 years of my life, I was all over that place. And I would go to Galveston and I'd walk around in the part of the Galveston they call the Strand on the bay, and I'm a real history buff, and I read all about the 1900 hurricane that wiped out the Galveston, and thousands of people drowned. And I was just thinking about the people that lived there before the flood in the late 1800s. And I found out that with my being a history buff, that the German community there was the community that actually built up the Strand and named it the Strand. And after the big hurricane, the German community wasn't there anymore. And so out of my imagination and walking around down there, I came up with a song about a lady that was could have been, maybe she did live there, but as far as I know, it's strictly out of my imagination. And it's called Island Red. She was a red-headed German girl, abandoned by a rich businessman on the streets of old Galveston. She came over on an ocean liner. No one ever looked any finer who walked the streets of old Galveston. Island Red, she was a beauty, they all said. Island Red, she always turned their heads as she called herself Island Red. They just called her beautiful, that good-looking woman who walked the Strand. All the women said she was shameless, all the men said she was famous, but everyone stopped and watched as she walked by. She always lived at the finest hotels, and as far as anyone could tell, she never once ever ran out of money. She only did what she had to do to buy those fancy clothes and shoes and keep those tears from her eyes so blue. Now she was full of mystery, and one look at her could cause misery and fill your dreams with a woman with hair so red. Island Red, she was a beauty, they all said. Island Red, she always turned their heads as she called herself Island Red. They just called her beautiful, that good-looking woman who walked the Strand. All the women said she was shameless, all the men said she was famous, but everyone stopped to watch as she walked by.
I like that song.
Has a little catchy tune to it too. You know, I don't think people go on about the words too much. You know, but maybe the catchy name of the person, Island Red. All right, let me see here. Moving on to another album. You know, one of the songs that really and truly people in the audience helped me write a song one time. And that's kind of,
I can relate.
it's kind of a unusual thing. But people would tell me, you remind me, you sound a little bit like Johnny Cash. And I'm telling them, well, I'm really not trying to do that. I don't really hardly sing really Johnny Cash songs. And you know, especially with those hats you wear, you kind of remind me of Waylon Jennings. And so I said, we know y'all are going to just keep telling me stuff like that. I'm going to have to write a song. So I wrote this song, and it's really about a person going into a place, and there's somebody in there singing. And my dream is that everybody that goes into a place and someone's singing is they listen. They don't talk over, you know, the person who's singing. So that's kind of, I wiggled that into the song, you know, my idea about the perfect scenario of a person, you know, getting up and singing in front of people. And so the title of this song is He Looked Like Waylon and Sounded Like Cash. I went into a bar on the outskirts of town to forget about the day and drink a cold beer down. There was a guy singing songs that took me way back. He looked like a Waylon, sounded like Cash. No one was talking, they all hung on his words. He was singing his songs while strumming some chords. He had a big booming voice from out of the past. He looked like a Waylon, sounded like Cash. He sang, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't get stuck in prison where time keeps dragging on. Try to walk the line though you've always been crazy. He looked like a Waylon and sounded like Cash. He put away his guitar much too soon. I tipped him a 20 cause I loved his tunes. He had a sad smile and he was dressed in black. He looked like Waylon, sounded like Cash. He sang, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't get stuck in prison where time keeps dragging on. Try to walk the line though you've always been crazy. He looked like Waylon, sounded like Cash. He looked like Waylon and sounded like Johnny Cash.
15 minutes.
Keep going.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Yes, you got 15 minutes.
We
All
got
right. Well, let me see here.
Let me ask you a few questions. BMI, you're a songwriter composer on BMI. You've
Yes.
you're on Spotify, you're on at least a half a dozen, if not more, streaming services.
Yeah,
You've had
I'm on.
a couple of songs that
I'm on
wound
the
up in
major
movies.
ones, the Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, even ones that I have no idea anything about, like Tidal. I go through a digital label that I just pick the ones that. So most of the time I pick them all, and they're out there on all the streaming channels, YouTube Music, YouTube, you know, pretty much all of them.
RickeyGeneWright.com, all one word. For those listening out there, RickeyGeneWright.com, one word.
And AmericanaSingerSongwriter.com.
Okay.
So I found that one was available, and I learned by listening to people in the marketing world that maybe people find you accidentally by just looking up singer-songwriter, Americana singer-songwriters, and they're not really looking for Rickey Gene Wright, and they find you that way. So let me see here. I do a little strumming, a little flat picking, and then I do a little finger picking with my style. I'll talk about the two-finger style. And I wrote a song back, during the pandemic when I started learning really how doubly important it was to keep up with people, because people get lonely and get depressed, and I've always been told when you think about somebody, you should get in touch with them, and so that's what this song is about. It's getting in touch with somebody that you hadn't talked to in a while. It could be in person or it could be on the phone, but it's called Made My Day. It's so good to talk again. Yes, it's been way too long, my friend. Thoughts of you sometimes dance through my mind Well, I'll confess it happens all the time. I just want you to say things are good and you're okay. Now that we're talking, I've got to say the sound of your voice made my day. Long time no see, feels like forever. You're going your way and I'm going mine. The times between get longer, it seems. There's no one to blame and no fault to find. I just want you to say things are good and you're okay. Now that we're talking, I've got to say the sound of your voice made my day. Now that we're talking, I've got to say the sound of your voice made my day.
That's a nice song. What have you got next? I like that. I've always liked that one too.
So we're getting down to about
Yeah.
7 minutes.
Yeah, we got time for 2 more songs, I'm thinking. We're
And
thinking.
look here. You know, I have we didn't sound check, so I won't do it, but I do write songs with mandolin and banjo, and we didn't sound check those, so I won't spring that on y'all, but because they have a completely different kind of sound. I know whenever I'm playing out, and the sound guys freak out when I get these out because the resonance and they're so different in those. So
Well,
let
I'll
me
bet
see
if you
here.
didn't plug it in and that one mic that's just doing the acoustics of the room, I'll bet it would still sound fine.
Yeah, I've had some wild and crazy things happen though. You know.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want. You've been doing
Yeah,
great so far. I don't want to
push it.
submerge
I
the
don't want
ship.
to push it. And so let me see here. Um, I know I was talking about this last album that we've been putting one song, at a time out there. And one of the songs is a song that there's been several times in my life that I made mistakes, messed up, and uh, and then I've watched other people, make mistakes, and sometimes when you're standing off looking at someone, uh, you know, messing up, making some mistakes, and uh, there's nothing really you can do. They're just gonna, it's gonna be that way, and come to the realization that most of the time we are the common denominator in our troubles that we have in life. And so that particular idea, I just sat down one day and said, maybe I could write a song about that, and so I came up with the idea that since we are the common denominator in most of the troubles that we bring on ourselves in this life, that we actually fuel that flame ourselves. And so the name of the song is Fuels the Flame, and I guess it was the second song we've released on that fifth album. Standing there by a burning bridge, looking at what you've done, holding all the evidence in your hands, never crosses your mind to say there might be another way, as it all comes crashing down again. What are you supposed to do when you flirt with trouble and trouble chooses you? You stand there staring, knowing you're the blame. Your own life fuels the flame. Truth be told, this won't be your last. It's no secret about your past. You burn your bridges with your own gasoline. Many have said the odds are stacked. If you don't change, you'll be back, striking another match with nothing left between. What are you supposed to do when you flirt with trouble and trouble chooses you? You stand there staring, knowing you're the blame, when your own life fuels the flame. You stand there staring, knowing you're the blame, when your own life fuels the flame.
When are we going to see you on our Zoom open mics on Wednesdays? You're doing a great job. And that's another one of my songs that wow, I can never believe that. Anyway, I'd like to see you on Zoom on our Wednesday nights. Your sound is so good. Your songs are so good. Your delivery. I mean, you're probably gigging. That's probably why we don't see you on our DSA Zoom open mics on Wednesdays from 7 to
Well,
11.
I can't promise every Wednesday night, but I
Oh,
can.
no, we wouldn't
Yeah,
expect you to.
yeah. It's this wild and crazy Zoom world is you know, pretty new, for everybody, but we're kind of getting the hang of it.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're quite comfortable with it. I wasn't sure at first before we went on. Do we have time for another song?
Okay. All right. Let me see here. Um, I have a lot of songs I had mentioned about history, and I love history. And I've always been stunned about this because on the very first album the #1 song on Apple Music from that first album is a Civil War song that I wrote. And I'm just so amazed. I go back and check. And this song about something that happened in the Civil War, somebody likes it in Apple Music, because it is, since that album came out, that's been the #1 song from that album. So this particular song is a song about actually my family. And I went back and looked at historical records, and actually I found on this site called Find a Grave, and you can go back and search back through your ancestors. And I had so here's me, my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather. So that's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Fought in the Civil War with his 3 brothers. And they all had horses and they all had rifles, so they were able to be in the cavalry. And they all 3 survived. And as you know, in the Civil War, there was a big casualty rate, especially among the infantry. And so this particular song is a song about my great-great-grandfather. And I found in the history books about this particular cavalry from East Texas, that there was a Yankee general that wrote down in his memoirs that they did not want to see this cavalry come around them, get close to them, do a guerrilla warfare kind of thing, because they were really good marksmen while they were riding their horses, while they were moving. And so he would say to his officers, when you think that this is happening to you, holler out to everybody, look out, Yankees, here they come. So I said, well, I probably could write a song about that, look out, Yankees, here they come. So I put it on that album because that was the album that had a lot of story songs and songs about interesting characters in my family tree. And so here's the #1 song from that album still today, called Look Out Yankees, Here They Come. Volunteers from Texas, mostly kinfolks and friends, they're riding to Virginia, if that's what it takes to win. They grew up riding horses in the East Texas pines, and shooting from the saddle was a way of life. They weren't no rich folks, but they knew how to fight. Some call them devils and ghost riders in the night. It was hard to get a shot off when they came charging in, their guns all ablazing, and the sun is their friend. Look out, Yankees, here they come. They ride like devils out of the morning sun. Keep your head down, these are the ones. These riders from Texas, they can't shoot on the run. No one ever saw them ever fall in a fight. If they were ever shot, they never did die. When the sun came up and was shining in our eyes, to see those riders coming was a scary sight. Look out, Yankees, here they come. They ride like devils out of the morning sun. Keep your head down, these are the ones. These riders from Texas, they can't shoot on the run. Look out, Yankees, here they come. They ride like devils out of the morning sun. Keep your head down, these are the ones. These riders from Texas, they can shoot on the run. These riders from Texas, they can shoot on the run. Look out, Yankees, here they come.
Rickey Jean Wright. Well, that probably brings us to a close. Do you want to say anything else before we go?
No, I guess I could say that when you come and see me play, a lot of times there's a really, really good harmony singer that sings with me. And so it kind of really adds a lot to have harmony in songs. And but a lot of times, I'm doing solo things and songwriter spotlight things. But when I'm singing, I still hear that harmony.
Do you think
Part of
Denise Owen
part
will
of my
join us?
growing up singing out of the hymnals where we sing all four parts of the harmony.
Yeah. I'd like to see her come out on the fourth Thursday of the month at Love and Warren, Texas, and see how you guys do together some more. Yeah, harmony's fun.
It's kind of hard to do multiple people though, because we have multiple people already.
Yeah,
Maybe she could come out and sing in my place.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Well, that probably brings us to a close. This is brought to you by Dallas Songwriters Association. I want to thank everyone involved, especially Rickey Jean Wright, our special guest for the evening. I'm your host, Bill Martin, and thanks again to the Dallas Songwriters Association. And we look forward to seeing you the second Tuesday of every month, and we will have presumably a new host, and we will always have a new artist that we will be focusing on. So thank you all very much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you again soon.